Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukutali.
Very good morning and a warm welcome to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And joining me is my friend, my colleague and the former diplomat, veteran journalist, Bandula Jayasekara. Very good morning.
Morning, not veteran as you are.
Not as veteran as I am.
Yes.
But you're looking refreshed after your journey. You went to Tibet.
Yes.
The special autonomous region on the Tibetan plateau, high up there in the hills.
A rare opportunity.
A rare opportunity. And this morning...
I survived.
You
Tibet.
did, indeed. Because it's not very easy to survive. Tibet is around over 12,000 feet up there on the Tibetan plateau. And Bandula has been there. And we thought we'll discuss what a wonderful place Tibet is. And we're not sure whether they have VAT rises and all that sort of thing. But from what Bandula tells us, an absolutely splendid place and a rare opportunity.
Very rare for us.
Shall we have a look at some of these clips that you brought back with you, Bandula? Well, that was the... it seems so serene, Bandula, Tibet.
Yeah, it is, I think, one of the most beautiful places on earth, because as Sri Lankans we have heard as Tibet as the land of the lamas, Buddhism and beauty. Yeah. And it was truly wonderful.
And I suppose the viewers heard this, you explaining about the breathing. So breathing is actually a problem.
A problem, and
so high up.
And I really don't know the reason. When you go, they tell us don't shower the first day. You don't shower, of course. You have to eat less.
Right.
Eat less. Walk very slowly. And all the hotel rooms, they have an oxygen button.
Oh, rather like we have air conditioning.
Yes, so you press the oxygen button before you go to sleep. Plus, they'll give you, like in your cars and all, you have this small oxygen. So you canisters, and in addition,
with a mask.
Yeah. So they give us more oxygen. The doctors are available 24/7.
And in the hotel room, the oxygen is into the whole room, is it?
Yes, whole room. Plus, we get breathing difficulties, headaches.
Right.
So they give you the headache tablet.
Right.
So I got the headache. I was lucky first day, and the tablet did it all. But nausea, drowsiness.
Right.
Then sometimes you feel bleeding, little bit of bleeding from the nose, cramps. You get all that.
Right.
So a lot of people fell ill. In fact, again coming back to Canada.
Yeah.
2 Canadians have to be flown out of Tibet.
Right.
And they were flown to Beijing.
Right.
Beijing. So that's really what happens. So the moment you go down, everything is okay.
And so, did you notice that the people in Tibet, do they generally walk much slower?
No, they are all right because they have their red cells. They produce 60% more red cells
so
than
that is
ours. Yeah.
You've been acclimatized.
So it takes us time to adjust.
I see.
Some people say 2 to 3 days, some people 7 days.
Right.
So looking back, I feel good. At least you have returned.
And then when you returned, do you feel, have there been any after effects?
Yeah, a little bit of breathing difficulty. So, but it's fine. I mean, the fact is that some people were flown out from this group, and that we completed our 6 days.
Right.
It was a good feeling I have.
Indeed. As usual, Sri Lanka is very resilient, aren't we?
There was a Nepali, it was easy for him. A Mongolian, it was easy for him.
Yes. And how were the people? How were your hosts and hostesses? How were they? How did
they were wonderful. I would say we had a guide called Dorji, So like I'm sure all of our viewers, we all read Tintin in Tibet.
Yes.
I mean, that was the first experience. I think most of my friends were talking about Tibet.
Yes.
And then also I must remind that in our the freedom struggle against the British, there was this famous monk called S. Mahinda, who fought for the Sri Lankan freedom struggle.
Yeah.
But I mean, we knew of it as land of the Lama, so they were very friendly and for us content people. And that's the best thing which I noticed.
Content. So politically, it's special autonomous region of China.
Yes.
And then Sri Lanka recognizes this one China.
We have the one China policy.
So,
and I want to add to that for us because it will be interesting now. So even like we had delegates from Spain, Denmark and lots of other countries, they also believe in one China policy.
Yeah.
They said, look, we have to work with China.
Yeah.
So that is there.
And how is it? Is it quite cheap? Is the cost of living cheap?
We didn't realize it much because I'll be honest, we were hosted, so we didn't realize it as much. But people, that's why I said we met a lot of journalists, we met a lot of others, we interacted with Tibetan people.
What was the type of food?
They eat a lot of barley, a little bit of rice.
Is it spicy?
No, not as spicy as Sri Lanka.
Okay.
They have a variety.
And is it sort of
kanji? We have kanji and a mix of all that.
Right. Oh, there you are.
That's something very interesting. It's called the buttermilk tea.
Right.
Buttermilk tea is very special. They drink lots of tea for us.
Right.
And this is sort of yak milk. I'm sure you would have heard of the yak.
Yeah.
Like the cow, very beautiful. So that sort of yak milk is very famous all over. A little bit of butter, and it's a buttermilk tea, Tibetan. And that's a Tibetan person serving tea for us in a monastery.
I see. What is how widespread is English spoken there?
The people whom you met, they spoke English, but they spoke slowly.
Right.
Not like we Sri Lankans. They spoke English slowly. They knew about the outside well. Of course, we didn't have Google and all that, but they have their WeChat, which they use.
Is it the sort of place that this is a message coming in from a viewer. The viewer says, is it the sort of place that Ambassador Jayasekara would like to serve? you're a diplomat. What would you say if somebody said to you, serve as ambassador?
You might, I mean, of course, it's in Beijing, there is no diplomats.
You
it's,
could have
it's
a
in
consular
capital.
office.
Yeah, so, no, but I would say you might laugh when I say this.
Yeah.
I found Tibet so peaceful, right? I mean, there are times that we romanticize our deaths in life, so you feel, okay, this is a nice final resting place.
Oh, really?
Because it's absolute contentment. It's you feel at peace there.
Right. And
I want to answer. It's not, I mean, more than it's good to be the capital Maharaja Newsfirst representative.
yes,
that's better.
That's
not as a
yeah.
diplomat, and
You'd probably be better respected as the capital Maharaja Newsfirst representative out there.
that's it. Not as this. It doesn't work. I mean, I've served in the government. I've had enough of it.
Have you noticed that what sort of controversies do they have? We've got all sorts of controversies, which I'm going to touch on shortly.
But for us, it's interesting. See, if we think, okay, they should come and live here, no, they are very happy there. See, China is developing that place a lot. Like when I met the Discovery Channel vice president who had done a program on Tibet 14 years ago. He was back joining. He says that's an absolute wonderful development. So they have no issues. The thing is, if let's talk of this Dalai Lama thing, the controversy. I mean, he's gone. It was like a feudal society. There were slaves, all that. He can't come back. See, unlike in Sri Lanka here, I mean, we have to recognize. Okay, take our north.
Yeah.
But Chinese people are developing Tibet, but they integrate all these people,
right?
And like see Tibetan designs, so that's why they are successful. I know what's coming in.
A viewer says that I look dreamy. You must forgive me, but I'm trying to picture myself in Tibet, and I'm already falling in love with the place. I'm going to. What's that?
Yeah, no, this is very interesting for us. We were taken to opera called Princess Wenchen.
Right.
That is the bottom of a beautiful hill.
Right.
It has been running for 2 years for us.
Right.
With the cast of 1,000 people.
Right.
1,000 people. I've never seen opera in my life. Rather, horses, the yaks, children, the carriages, all that. For 2 years. It's a Tibetan story, beautiful songs. For 2 years, we have never seen, I think we have discussed some time ago at like Sigiriya, we can have change of sets. Out of the 1,000 cast, 90% are from the village.
Oh, right.
And it has been one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen. Princess Wenchen, the opera.
I get the feeling, Pandula, that you are in love with Tibet and its people.
Yes, I am in love. I must add to this, I have been in my life 2 places.
Right.
Kashmir.
Yeah.
Beautiful Kashmir, the Srinagar.
Yeah.
And Tibet.
And which the balance?
Both are like equally beautiful places. Like Kashmir, we call it the Dream Valley.
Yeah.
Man, Tibet is known as top of the world, roof of the world.
You are generally probably the most eligible bachelor in our field.
After you. You're the most eligible bachelor, then I'm the eligible bachelor after you. I am number 2.
Have you fallen in love with any particular Tibetan lady, or is it just the country as a whole that you're in love with?
Country and its people.
Right. And
I'm sure if we both of us go to Tibet next year, both of us will fall in love with Tibet and its people.
Well, okay. How do they earn money? I always have to come back to money.
No, there's textile. I made some notes. They have this barley, the crops, and there's a lot of copper there.
Oh, is there?
A lot of copper.
Right.
So.
Oh, there you are.
No, that's a vocational institute for us.
Right.
Another thing which I've noticed I went to the University of Tibet.
Right.
Then the vocational institutes are real, like if it's a real hotel, that's where they teach you.
Okay.
If it's a real like a factory, they teach you.
Oh, I
see. It's amazing how they teach people. This vocational, which we don't have that. Now see, we have our graduates, they don't get practical knowledge. So these people are hands-on.
Yes. And
I want to add to that. There are now, see, which I learned first time in China. There are 22 ethnic groups in China.
22.
Yeah, which I didn't know.
And they seem to be getting on fine.
Fine. And in Tibet, you have the Tibetans, mostly it's Buddhism,
Yeah.
followed by Catholics and Muslims, which was news to us. We learned it the first time. They coexist.
And no controversy.
No controversy.
The controversial person is not living there anymore.
He's not there, but then
The
I
Dalai
don't-
Lama.
Yeah, but there are lamas. There are every person I thought is a lama. First they are monks, then they graduate, then they become lamas.
Right.
Which I went to the Potala Palace,
Right.
where we were taken on a tour, and
Yeah.
something was interesting where that when I said they knew Sri Lanka,
Right.
and I greeted and said Sri Lanka Buddhists.
Yeah.
They smiled.
Yeah.
The lamas,
Right.
because they've heard of Sri Lanka and Buddhists.
Right.
Also, for us, we suggested on behalf of our organization as well as Sri Lanka, because they're opening to the world, we said there should be more cultural exchange,
Yeah.
tours, like troops going from Sri Lanka to Tibet, Tibetan troops coming here, the
Right.
people. That would help, because they're opening up. Chinese wanted to show how they develop.
Right.
So we said, why don't you do that? Homestays. Now, I mean, let's be open about this now, which I observe for us, which will interest you, where, okay, President Rajapaksa failed in the north.
Yeah.
Now, whereas, okay, there is development is needed, but hearts and minds,
Yeah.
that's needed to win the hearts and minds of the people. This is exactly what these people are doing. Like I was telling you, they're integrating the designs, the culture. Now we can't, if I speak very bluntly here, you can't go to Jaffna and have something like a Kandyan motifs, traditional thing. You have to, combine, blend. So these Chinese are doing that,
Right.
which we failed, I think. I don't know whether you agree, but that's where we...
Yes, there's a need for that. Let's discuss Tibet and the VAT perhaps as well, and all the controversies after this very short break. Do stay tuned. After all, this is Newsline.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukatali.
Welcome back to Newsline, where my guest this morning is Bandula Jayasekara, and telling us all about Tibet, that special autonomous region up in the hills of the Tibetan Plateau. We've got another clip here coming up, Bandula. That's absolutely astounding beauty.
Yeah, Faraz, you really would like the place, because I want to tell you now, see here, let's take this our country. You have these SUVs, all these things which people show off.
Yeah.
There, they use it for a purpose. There's nothing to show off.
Right.
So that's the beauty of it. And when you speak to these people, you see contentment.
Indeed.
And you come back, there is a rat race, there people work very hard. But there is lots of prominence given to culture and arts. That so much is given.
And these people seem to be in Tibet far removed from the concerns that the people in this country have. For example, the VAT. Have you given some thought to this company? The VAT bill is on hold. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party members are not minded to vote for this thing, because they appear to be more reflective of the people's concerns about the rising cost of living.
I think we are all suffering because
Indeed.
of this.
I've looked at that, the list of the maximum retail prices. I think I can just about afford the canned fish and the onions.
And also I must see, what I've noticed in my 6 or 7 days in Tibet is, I didn't see this corrupt people who's in and out of remand, in and out of prison hospitals. You don't get people like that there.
Yes. And yesterday we were told that in 2006 was the advent of the Money Laundering Act in Sri Lanka. But Mr. Kalinga disclosed, almost in Attorney General type fashion, that in these 10 years, let alone a conviction, we've not even had an indictment, which seems to be that either there's no money laundering or that Sri Lanka doesn't have the specialist knowledge. Perhaps, Bandula, they should have imported a special prosecutor rather than the infamous and much controversial governor of the central bank, who was imported from Singapore.
Yeah, but we also have seen some other politicians, how they are lavish lifestyles. You and I have seen how they live lavish, you know. I mean, what happened? What happened to places like when Mihina?
Yeah.
What a colossal waste. I mean, so nothing is happening
The
to
good
those
concept, a budget airline, a good concept, but perhaps underfunded by the government. But back to this VAT thing, you know, what do you think? I mean, can you really afford to pay these prices? It's
I'm sure only the politicians can afford to, and people have made money out of it. Money out of it, and who are very much still having a good time.
But one thing, Bandula, I don't know whether you had a chance to compare the level of the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech, which we now have here in Sri Lanka.
Than before.
Did you manage to talk politics with any Tibetan people?
No, we I mean, of course our movements were restricted.
Right.
I mean, there was no Google, they have their own thing. But so those things were there. But it was, so they are opening up. But there is development. Now see, I'll tell you another interesting thing. When I spoke, the politicians in China don't carry guns. They are not allowed to.
Oh, right. So there's no
they are not allowed to. And there is more rule of law there, even though people will challenge, because we say we are a democracy. But so people feel secure. So now we have 225 MPs who can carry guns, but they are not allowed there. That's a wonderful thing. So that says something.
Indeed. We also have this morning a report in one of the papers that the Constitution Council has not agreed to raise the salary of the Auditor General. Do you think they're getting their own back on it?
I think it's revenge time. I think it's revenge time. It's not.
In my sceptical mind, it appears to be revenge time.
Yes, Faraz. And it's not only Gamini Vijay Singh. I mean, there will be future Auditor Generals. So they are taking it very personal against him.
Yes,
this is what I feel.
They're using the argument, according to one of those people, is that he came from the private sector in the full knowledge of what sort of salary he can expect, and therefore it wasn't on to try and obtain it. But I think if you want to attract the expertise from the private sector, then it's better to pay them more, to pay commensurate rates, because then they're happy and they don't want to barter that for bribes, basically.
Yeah, but the politicians also, you know, some people have come from the private sector and they're making their own money. And most of the politicians are making money.
There's one view here say that this government all claim in the past were claiming breach of trust, but poverty alleviation and social inclusion is still very much concerns. And this person is saying that money laundering doesn't appear to be that much of a concern.
I think, and there are lots of things that you and I don't see. I mean, how these, you know, how money is transferred outside by, especially I will blame the politicians.
Indeed.
How certain things, when they want, they do that. Indeed. We don't even know, we don't even see it.
Well, politically speaking, Bandula, what would you assess? What do you think is the most pressing issues that people are facing?
I mean, cost of living, day-to-day living, that's all they want. I mean, I don't think they want constitutional changes or one thing. They just want to live peacefully.
And they want a place to live.
Yeah.
They want a house.
Want a house. Now, see, we know it because of government. I mean, because politicians fail, only is that our channel is gone and getting the support of the public and some organizations and doing it. That shows how the system has failed, how the politicians have failed.
But isn't it marvelous that Sri Lanka, the people of Sri Lanka, have this inherent culture of giving, of sharing. It's not a I'm all right, Jack.
No, that's for us the masses. But
Yeah.
I'm talking of this selected, the chosen few who are
Right.
taking it from the people.
Yes, it's more take than give.
Okay, taking, and then they live off the poor people's. They go on their backs and live off their, for their vehicles, for their other facilities. That's
Yeah.
what they do. I mean, those are the people who are taking from the poor people. And whereas we are, say our channel, we are giving it back to the people.
Well, but it's been wonderful of you to share with us, our viewers, the serene beauty, the raw beauty, the natural beauty of Tibet, the special autonomous region up in the hills of the Tibetan Plateau. It looks like you enjoyed yourself very much.
And I'm at peace for us.
And you're at peace.
And we will go there next year.
Indeed. If God wills, and if the opportunities arise, I'd love to join you. On that note, Bandra, thank you very much for being on Newsline, and we hope you'll come back. We must do one of our specials soon. There are so many contentious issues that we need to discuss. Thank you, Bandra Jayasekara. Thank you for watching Newsline. It's been a pleasure. Same time, same place. All over again, Monday to Friday, 7 to 7:30. Thank you, take care, and have an excellent weekend. God bless.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.